Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of FitzRupee Cast featuring Dawn of War 2 Retribution. Red-Rupee here for you, once again calling the shots for you tonight. And I've got a big, brutal 3-on-3 game for you here on Calderis Refinery. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. On the blue team, we've got Daniel as the big bad force commander, the big melee brawler. Then Klaw as our orc mech boy teleporting range support hero. Then finally rounding it out with Vlad as Chaos Space Marine as the Plague Champion with some nasty globals and fearsome range damage. Then for the red team, we've got Fear as the Ravener Alpha tunneling range support hero. Then RedFox as the Farseer with a dazzling array of support spells. And Lux as the fearsome offensive warlock for the second Eldar on the blue team. So let's go ahead, get the game rolling here. Calderis Refinery, of course, a pretty straightforward map. You've got one natural VP for either side, and then right in the middle, we've got the contested VP in the infamous pit of death right here. Always comes down to a big bloody battle right there in the center. Then a couple contested power. Other than that, your natural powers are on opposing sides here. Two over there for either side. So both sides kind of coming out here into the center, slowly capping their rear points, and looks like either side has gone ahead and tried to grab that contested power node. Guardian's going to take some light fire from the scouts, but not going to be enough to dissuade them. They're going to pop that node right away and try to claim that power as their own, but that's probably not going to be for very long as there's so much range damage over there. Trying to push the Eldar back. They really can't do much in this first engagement with just the two Guardians if both players decide to push. And we're seeing the exact opposite on the other side of the map. Eldar and Tyranid now pushing against the lone Chaos player who's trying to take the contested power on this side. And he's trying to use that worship to stay in the fight, but that's just way too much range firepower pouring into him to stay on the field. Chaos Tax went up and tried to decap that natural wreck point, but probably should just try to stay in there and kind of do some damage to these Tyranid forces.
The enemy is capturing one of our strategic points.
So both players, or both teams rather, winning the 2-on-1 battles on their respective sides. Forcing back the opposing sides with a pile of range damage. Everyone going pretty heavy range. Daniel, 2 scouts attack, 2 CSM, 2 shooters, and then the Eldar both going pair of Guardians, and then double Termagants for Fear. So a pretty ranged heavy game is what we're probably going to be seeing here. As in team games tends to be more popular, melee can still certainly be very effective, but in a wide open map like Calderis Refinery, it's a lot more difficult to try to get your, especially early melee squads, into the fray. And some good use of that intimidating Spore Mine right there, running the Spore Mine behind the cover. The Chaos player probably could have stayed in there and dealt with these two squads and the injured Hormigaunt Brood, but with those Spore Mines in the retreat path, he really didn't want to stick around and try to deal with that. In the meantime, Eldar in a lot of trouble. Looks like I saw a ranger shot from over here. Snipers on the field for both Eldar players. Warlock charged in against those shooter boys. Got a nice special attack, knocked them all back. Mech boy sitting in green cover trying to eat up some damage from the two Guardian squads.
Support structure complete.
Tyranid player has Mr. Vlad locked in his base pretty much for the time being. But with some good use of the green cover and worship, these two CSM and the Plague Champion will be able to hold that side without much issue. Rangers just barely getting out of there against two big shoes. Got to be very careful with those Rangers. They're super effective against Space Marine. And pretty effective at bleeding Orc too, as they always tend to drop a model with every shot. But if they get caught out of position against those shooter boys, they're not going to last very long at all. So both Eldar players now with 2 Rangers and 2 Guardians on the field. That's going to make it very difficult to approach them without taking some serious ranged fire before even being able to engage at all. In the meantime, Daniel's gotten himself some Assault Space Marines, pretty typical to see with the Force Commander. And Vlad going pretty heavy with 2 Havocs over here. Now returning the favor has the Tyranid player Fear kind of locked in his base. Fear has a second squad of Spore Mines. I'll have to see what we intend to see those happen. Hormagaunts coming in against the Havoc, but the second Havoc completely suppresses them immediately. That's one of the best things about the Havoc's weapon setup team is they instantly suppress anything they fire on. Of course, those Spore Mines don't get suppressed, but they don't have the HP to stand up against all that firepower. They do get 2 detonations off, but that wasn't enough to really deter that Chaos front line, especially with the Worship going off up there, negating, or not negating, but eventually restoring all of the bit of damage they did to those heavy armor squads. Force Commander and Assault Space Marines on this side of the map managing to get everything under control as far as this central power. You can see the Orc built a generator, so they really are going to want to focus on trying to hold that down. And nice teleport by the Mech Boy right in the face of those 2 Guardian squads. Assault Marines jump in on the Cloaked Rangers. They're trying like heck to get out of there. They're probably going to lose a model or 2, but they can still get the squad out and turn and fire here momentarily. Shooter Boy is upgraded with a knob, so they will be able to spot those Rangers if they get too close. Rangers still trying to stay on the field, but those Assault Marines are getting dangerously close. In the meantime, Mech Boy still teleporting around, doing a great job with that Def Gun he has. Teleporting suppression is no joke. And these Guardians might actually go down. They retreat at the last second. Looks like the Chaos finally get pushed back over here. The help of the Eldar player finally helping Fear out of his base against that double Havoc setup. And oh man, Daniel lost his tack somewhere in this last battle. Oh dear. I'm not sure if that was to the Rangers or what, but they are gone. It had to have been to the Rangers because I don't see any grenades on the Guardians or anything like that yet. That's something that's going to have to be a continuing problem for the blue team until they can get some vehicles onto the field. Anywhere over on this side of the map where the 2 Eldar players are is going to be very dangerous. You're going to have to keep a very close eye on all of your squads because 4 Rangers can drop scouts instantly and do heavy damage to just about anything else. Havoc's trying desperately to destroy that Spore Mine. It does, but the Farseer's slowly getting into range, finally engages in a melee, instantly knocks them all back, but then falls back.
Ready for duty.
Assault Marines jumping in on the Eldar player. Blue team doing a good job at holding the VPs so far. Overall has better map control, I feel like. Has their farms fully upgraded, has a 3rd farm even over here with 2 power, so that should give them the power advantage over the red team for the time being, which is good because Vlad went pretty heavy in his first tier 1. But he didn't really invest in any other upgrades, I don't think. Didn't get anything on his CSM. Got an aspiring champion, so overall, not spending that much power. Just a large wreck. So everyone's moving into tier 2 now. Blue team with a 2-0 cap against the Reds. And once again, you can see the Plague Champion just set up pretty much right out in front here. Scouts trying to get away. Getting caught out of position against all that Eldar range fire. Tyranid player Fear trying to figure out how to get out of there. Really needs to be using these Ravener tunnels. I feel like these Havocs shouldn't be giving the Ravener Alpha so much trouble. He's supposed to be the most mobile hero, and even if they are, he should just kind of abandon his side and go help his teammates, as Vlad has a pretty stationary force right there, investing so heavily in the 2 setup squads there. So all of the blue team now in tier 2, RedFox heading there as well. Lux needs to go into tier 2, but hasn't quite hit his button yet. He's got the resources for it. 487 to 318. Looks like the red team's going to try to take this tertiary power farm over here. And in the meantime, Tyranid's force is still trying to move in against all these Havocs. Oh no, here comes an Altarch drop on the Havoc. Secondary Havoc going down, it looks like. Yes, completely obliterated by a well-placed Altarch drop. Definitely helping out his ally Fear to get out there. And that's really what the red team needs to be doing here, is kind of focusing down on specific players. Force Commander upgraded with both the Armor of Alacrity and the Iron Halo right now. So speedy and tanky is not a combination you like to see. Warlock goes down, trying to escape the Force Commander, but ran right into the clutches of some Assault Space Marines. Assault's going to take some losses if they don't fall back now. That's too much range damage. They need to turn off the Force Commander bubble when you're not taking fire. Always remember to turn your shields off when you're not taking fire so you can regenerate that energy. And it sounds like, yes, we're getting the Thunderhammer on the Force Commander right now. So that's some heavy investment. All 3 War Gears on that Force Commander. Going to be causing some serious trouble. And at the sight of an Orc truck, the Rangers just get the heck out of there. Razorback on the field as well for the blue team. The scariest thing about the truck is that you can never be too sure what's in it. Unbeknownst to them, it doesn't really have any big scary melee in it, I don't think. Truck taking lots of fire from those Venom Broods, though. And in the meantime, Razorback's in the base over here of Lux trying to take out some of those Rangers. The truck narrowly escaping with its life on the right side of the map. Tyranid player doing lots of trouble over there. Kind of just blobbing around in a big pile of nastiness. Getting suppressed by the whole Havoc squad, though. Blobbing up is exactly what Vlad wants them to do because he can just suppress the whole lot of them with the Havocs. Altar jumps in and changes it all, though. Turns it right around. And it's not looking too good for Mr. Vlad over here. Oh no, but here comes a nasty play crowd right in the middle of the Tyranid army. They see it a second too late. One of those warriors goes down, takes out a Termagant Brood with the Synapse Backlash.
Our Force Commander has reached level 2.
In the meantime,
We are losing a requisition point to the enemy.
still nothing on the field to deal with this Razorback from Lux. Lux has some Warp Spires on the field, but he needs a Bright Lance or something along those lines to help deal with that. Warlock over here cloaked, I believe a rangered hollow field went down there. Oh man, the Assault Marine Sarge goes down. Force Commander charging in with the Thunderhammer. Those squads need to get out of there. Oh, look at the damage on that. Guardians just barely escaping with their lives. Force Commander very low. Oh no, it looks like Swift Movement was activated, allowing the Warlock to get that last swing, and the Force Commander goes down. He's going to have to bring that Force Commander back quickly with how much power he invested into that. With 3 War Gear and, of course, that expensive Thunderhammer, you really just don't want to have your hero on the ground after investing so much into War Gear. Another big engagement on the eastern side of the map for Red's natural VP. Nice smite going down from the Librarian, getting some good damage on those Barbed Strangler Warrior Broods. Bloodletters teleporting in, taking out a Warrior. Nice Synapse Backlash right there. Didn't do too much damage as there was only one Gaunt Squad around. Hit the Raveners briefly too, but then phase shifting out, sitting there. The best thing about phase shift is that you can just see those Bloodletters hanging out in the middle of all your ranged army. After taking out the Orc Trek, the Tyranids realize that's the best they're going to do and fall back. 401 to 254. The Reds just can't hold the map. I think kind of the problem is they're all fighting singularly. They tend to come out one at a time against these big forces. And they really, the Eldar still have nothing to deal with these transports, really. They managed to take out an Orc truck, but Orc trucks are made out of paper mache, I believe, so that's really nothing to brag about. There are Venom Broods on the field, but this Razorback's been running around uncontested on the other side of the map. Red team managed to get this one generator back for themselves and have the natural VP of the blue team, but still a 2-1 cap against them. Rangers having to force back over here on this side of the map against the Razorback. They just can't stay on the field. Oh no, Slugger Boys, I'm not sure if he's watching. Oh man, getting obliterated by a quick volley from all those Tyranid ranged units. And oh no, scouts went down. I don't even know what they went down to. I guess, oh, there we go. Double Rangers and double Guardians. That's exactly what I was talking about. Two quick shots from the Rangers and then another volley from the Guardians, and those scouts are pretty much just instantly going to go down. And the second squad went down as well. Oh no!
Enemy is claiming a victory.
They went down on retreat even. Possibly to all these Warp Spiders on the field. Those Warp Spiders do pretty reasonable melee, or sorry, ranged damage, even on retreat. Warlock running around being a nuisance with that infamous build, the Wishblade Champion's Robe and Heart of Darkness, making him tanky and a pretty heavy damage dealer as well. Force Commander for Daniel still down after losing those 2 scout squads. He really doesn't have much on the field anymore. Now heading into Tier 3, he needs to buy back that Force Commander though, because that's really a lot of his staying power, is having that big nasty Force Commander being able to charge into the ranged blobs and just take them down. 201 to 401 right now. Red team finally trying to get a little traction here. Bloodletter's charging in, but instantly deciding to fall back as soon as they see all the Eldar support there as well, realizing they can't hold their own against 2 armies. Terminator's on the field, though, all ready for Daniel. That's why he didn't buy that Force Commander back right away, I guess, was saving up for the big nasty Terminator, so some pretty heavy Tier 3 tech on the field already for the blue team. Fear's Tier 3 as well, and probably not far from getting a Carnifex on the field. Possibly a Swarmlord if he chooses to hold out for it a little while. And looks like the mech's finally headed over to pick up the Force Commander. Mech also getting upgraded with that very expensive Mega Rumbler. We'll have to see how that plays out because the Mega Rumbler does take a little bit of time to get set up. Mech Boy might go down trying to go for that Terminator. Or sorry, Force Commander, not Terminator. Eldar getting pushed back now. Farseer and Warp Spiders coming in against these Slugger Boys. They need to retreat right away or they're going to get taken right out, and I don't think they're getting out of there. Last Orc into bits. Mech Boy did end up going down. Librarian trying to get out of there. Activated his quickening just before retreating. Probably saved quite a bit of damage from going down on him. Razorback still running around, picking off squads, and Farseer's going to drop as well. That's 2 heroes down for the Blues, 1 down for the Red. 364 to 200. Red team's finally holding some map here and doing a good job of it. Managing to come out in the right numbers here against everything, but these Terminators are going to be a nightmare to deal with for these Eldar. Eldar kind of invested in Rangers and Warp Spiders, and they tend to not last too long against Terminators because they can't get that burst damage against them and still prevent themselves from taking damage themselves. So Tyranids moving out into the middle now, 2-0 cap against the Blues. Haywire Grenade going down on the Razorback. Warp Spiders, I guess, trying to get in to melee it. I'm not sure what they intend to do. This is really why he needed to get a Bright Lance earlier. But he's been having to reinforce quite a bit. Having 2 Warp Spiders is not cheap on upkeep, as you tend to lose a few members here and they are not cheap to reinforce. Terminators upgraded with their Assault Cannon, causing some serious hurt. In the meantime, we can see Vlad over here in a lot of trouble, just barely getting out the Chaos Space Marines after a quick surprise attack from the Eldar. Chaos Dreadnought with a Haywire Grenade on it. I'm not sure if it's going to get out of there. There goes a Plague Cloud trying to prevent those Tyranid from staying on the field. Engaging now those Venom Broods in melee combat. Razorback trying to take out a Lone Ranger on retreat there. Oh man, you can see the Venom Broods trying desperately to get some shots off, but they keep turning in and charging into melee. That's the problem with having a ranged unit that has a melee charge there, is that they tend to just turn around and engage in melee instead of turning and firing. Blue team gets the center of the map back and looks like possibly all 3 VPs here momentarily. Another Haywire goes down on that Razorback. Daniel has no scouts to reinforce it, and still not. He needs to pick up his Force Commander, and then he can res this Mech Boy. Even if, especially if you have an allied hero right there, there's no reason not to pick your Force Commander back up. You can see he's got plenty of requisition and so much invested in that Force Commander. Razorback trying desperately to maneuver around. Oh no, but the couple more swings from those Warp Spider Exarchs, they do have power weapons and can do some damage to vehicles there. Warp Spider's teleporting out after taking a couple losses there. Very mobile, very dangerous. and being a general headache to Daniel right now. Finally taking out that Razorback. Oh, but we have a Swarm Lord on the field. That's not going to be pleasant at all. And a Fire Prism, so two big pieces of Tier 3 tech on the field right now. Just a plethora of Eldar range damage. Guardians, Warp Spiders, Rangers, and now a Fire Prism as well. You can see one of the final Havoc that's still up changed to a Las Cannon there to help start dealing with this Swarm Lord. Barb Strangler's doing a great job in combination with that Fire Prism shot, scaring off that first squad of Chaos Space Marines. Dreadnought trying to get fixed up there in the meantime. Force Commander finally back up here. Klaw going straight for a Battle Wagon. That might come out and hurt pretty badly. 278 to 111. Red Team trying to make a comeback here after beating up quite a few of the Space Marine squads. Finally managing to take some map and forcing those Terminators back while they reinforce their lost member. Farseer back up onto the field. And a 3-0 cap and everything's quiet for the time being. A brief respite on Calderis Refinery while the blue team tries to gather its forces and figure out how they're going to deal with this Swarm Lord running around in the center. Fear now getting a Carnifex. And that's going to be two big, nasty, monstrous creatures to deal with from the Tyranid forces. You can see Chaos Dreadnought upgraded with the Mark of Siege, giving it a nice missile launcher right there. A barrage would have been perfect right there, right in the middle of all that. Oh no, another Haywire Grenade going down. I'm not sure if the Chaos Dreadnought's going to be as lucky as it was last time with the Swarm Lord right there. And there goes the speed boost. Oh, that is not going to escape. Dreadnought goes down to all those Tyranids. In the meantime, we can see Daniel coming in on the western side. Nice looking Plague Cloud there. Is that going to get both Ranger squads? Oh my goodness, there goes one, and there goes the second. Wow, finally doing some damage to the Eldar army right there. In the meantime, looks like the Orc Battle Wagon went on the field. Oh, a brutal shot right into both of those Warp Spider squads, but it might not be so lucky as to get out of there. It kind of ran into the base, it looked like, because you can see the Mech Boy up here dead as well, trying to just get a base attack right on that Eldar. Brightland's doing some damage if that Battle Wagon doesn't get out of there. Those big shooters need to focus down. The Stort Field going down on the Brightlands. Battle Wagon realizes it has to fall back. Unfortunately, Vlad still has no way to get out here and deal with these. With both the Orc player and the Space Marine on this side of the map, there's nothing that the lone Chaos can do against all those Tyranid creatures on his own. Librarian out here by himself on this side of the map. In the meantime, Tyranids forcing back the Chaos repeatedly with the help of their first Eldar ally. 3 squads of big shooters kind of running around, not sure what to do with themselves. Librarian getting knocked over repeatedly by the ranged attack of that Warlock. And he needs to get out of there as there's Rangers and 2 squads of Warp Spiders. Oh no, another knockdown, and he is not getting out. Oh, Librarian turned into bits. 150 to 98, the red team looks like they might be in charge here. A second squad of Terminators now on the field, Assault Terminators over here. Oh no, Warp Spiders teleporting in and possibly finishing off the Assault Space Marines. Oh no, more Space Marine bits who had just retreated from the Tyranid engagement in center. Unfortunately, a bit too low to escape through 2 squads of Warp Spiders. Force Commander has to fall back, and Daniel is down to just 2 squads of Terminators. Certainly nothing to scoff at, but I don't think that's going to be enough to deal with what's out here. There's just too much in the center. Oh, a beautiful shot between the Barb Strangler and the Fire Prism, pretty much forcing off the entire Chaos army in one swift stroke there. Barb Strangler, Carnifex, and Fire Prism Wide Beam doing some pretty heavy damage. Look at these Terminators just tanking away the Seer Council that's now on the field, trying desperately to vie for map control. 98 to 98, the red team's finally evened it out. And honestly, I'd say they're in a good position. It's looking a bit dismal for the blue team suddenly. These Terminators might not be getting out of here either. I'm not sure if they have a teleport or not. but if they don't, they're certainly going down. Swarmlord taking one last swing, and the Seer Council snags the kill. Big Shooter Boys just can't touch this blob in the center. There's a GG from Lux. A little premature, but honestly, I don't think he's unfounded in that claim. These Warp Spiders really just obliterated Daniel here there at the end. Seer counts are getting... Oh my goodness, look at that! Seer Council get obliterated by that Battle Wagon's Death Roller. One lone Warlock gets out of there alive. And as the Battle Wagon retreats into the base, it's a 3-0 cap, and the last few VPs are ticking away for the blue team as the Swarmlord bears down on the Battle Wagon in the base of Mr. Klaw. So wow, red team really bringing it back here in the last half of the game. In the first half, it looked like blue had things under control. Red team was just not able to hold the VPs. But after whittling away the squads of Daniel and Klaw, there was just really nothing they could do to get out against RedFox's and Fear's combined forces. The Fire Prison combined with the Swarmlord and Carnifex really coming out. And oh my goodness, these Fulgurant Warp Spiders just doing so much damage throughout the game. Man, picking off squads left and right on retreat, it's certainly not a favorite tactic. People hate seeing against that, but honestly, if you're out here in the center in a team game, especially in team games, you have to be aware of your retreat path, because if you retreat with low HP, an entire army could be waiting there to finish you off. Anyways, well played by the red team, way to bring it back. Fear certainly assoiled for his early game play, being locked in his base, comes out in tier 3 with a Carnifex and Swarmlord and flips the game right on its head. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Another big 3-on-3 game for you. I know a lot of you guys like to watch those, and I don't do them very often. So pretty hectic, pretty brutal. Anyways, this is Red-Rupee. I'll catch you guys next time.